Hey Jamie, I want to thank you for coming in today and meeting with me. And these are your civil rights, and here's some literature and some other documents that you're going to need. And I'm sorry about what happened yesterday, and I appreciate you sharing more with me today about your struggles with sobriety
Look,
and the use of alcohol.
I don't know why we have to meet again. We already did this, we already had a plan, and I already told you everything, and so I really don't know why we have to do this all over again.
Jimmy, I know we already had a plan, and we did, and there were certain parts of the plan that broke down, and the kids were in an unsafe situation, and when I revisited the plan, it looked like there were some areas that weren't clear, and we also, quite honestly, didn't have enough people supporting you on that plan, and the kids are safe though now. Your ex-husband came; he showed up right away. He's got the children with him.
I, I understand. How are they doing? I really miss them.
I know they're doing okay. I mean, Macy had a diaper rash. It was bleeding, and the kids, you know, they were scared, but they're doing okay. And you showing up today shows me you care a lot about them. And what I'd like to do is just review the danger statement that we built together first before we talk about a safety support network. Would that be all right?
Okay.
Okay. I went ahead and laid it out, but really, quite honestly, Jamie, it's not just your children that are worried. Your ex-husband's worried. I'm worried. Neighbors, law enforcement that day is extremely worried. And what we're worried most about is that, honestly, that you're going to continue to abuse alcohol and marijuana. And when that happens, we're worried that the kids are going to ingest marijuana fumes, that they might get hurt with their broken bottles. I'm worried that by ingesting rotten food, that all of this may cause them to get hospitalized. Not having their diapers changed and being unkept. They could get malnourished. When you're not supervising them, right? They're left alone. And my biggest worry is that you're going to continue to drive under the influence. And if you continue to drive under the influence, my worry is that you guys could die if you get in a crash. And
all this sounds like so much like I'm just like this bad mom that doesn't care about her kids, and I love them and I miss them. And
you're not a bad mom, Jamie, and I know this sounds really bad, and it was extremely harmful what happened to the kids, but you're not a bad mom and you're not a bad person, okay? You're suffering from an illness, a disease of addiction, and you've had recovery before, okay? You just made some poor choices. And by showing up today, you have the opportunity to work with me so that we can get some support around you to make some better choices. That's all it is. And I have to tell you, one of my biggest worries is that if the doors are unlocked, because when I showed up, the doors were unlocked, and the door was open, that the kids are going to start wandering outdoors or maybe get kidnapped. And I never want that to happen, and I know you don't want that to happen too. And so really we're just going to work together so that we can ensure that there's always a safe, sober adult taking care of the kids. And we want to surround you with people, right, that can help you during your recovery. I know this is difficult.
I just don't feel like I have like anyone in my life right now.
I know that it's difficult to cope with the alcoholism, and I know that trying to manage and care for two small children can be very overwhelming when you're all alone doing that. And I want you to know that I'm here for you every step of the way. Okay?
Okay.
So when I look at this, when I look at your history here, you've had 5 years of sobriety before, Jamie. We talked about this last time I was there. There were 5 years where you were sober alone, and also when you had the kids, and you were pregnant with Macy and Sarah, you were using drugs or alcohol. and you were taking care of them, they were healthy, you know? You made really good choices as a parent before, and we want to get you back there. I want to introduce you to this tool. It's called the Circles of Safety and Support. In this tool, it can be really helpful to explore all the people in your life, past and present, and the lives of your children, that can be a safety support to ensure that they're always cared for safely. You know, would you be willing to try this tool on with me today?
I mean, we can try.
I mean, you have people in your life, I mean, right?
I mean, my mom is someone who knows their dad. I mean, he has them now.
Okay.
We called him.
Well, the inner circle here really represents people that know everything about what's happened, meaning what's happened to the children and your struggles with alcohol, marijuana abuse. So you told me in this inner circle you'd put your mom, and you said their dad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Mama was to put grandma and the father of the kids. Anyone else you put here?
My dad and my sister, maybe.
Okay.
But I just feel like my mom kicked me
Mhm.
out. She's not happy with me at all right now. I haven't talked to my sister in
Mhm.
a long time. I don't know.
You know, it sounds really tough what happened with your mom kicking you out. And that really sucks. And, you know, it's okay. If you haven't talked to your sister-in-law, it's okay. We'll just put her in the inner circle for now. Will that be all right?
Okay.
All right. So prior to all this happening, though, I'd like to know, your dad, your mom, your sister, they sound like important people. Were there some things that they did to help support you in your sobriety before and help keep the kids safe? And what were those things?
Well, my mom, we lived with her for a while, and she's always been there to help me with the kids, you know, since me and their dad aren't together anymore. And then my dad and my sister, they're both in recovery too, so sometimes I would go to meetings with them, or, you know, but I haven't I stopped talking to them too much when I relapsed.
So they both are in recovery?
Yeah,
Okay. And you said you used to go to meetings with them?
yeah.
Okay. It sounds like you guys have a real connection there. And it sounds like they've been a big support in the past. Hey, if your kids were here right now, what might they say they love best about Grandma, Grandpa, and Auntie?
Well, I mean, probably everything. Her family's, you know, always been really close. You know, they do a lot of stuff with their grandparents, and, you know, I think that they'd always say that they're there for them no matter what.
Okay. And I know it's really, you know, you said you have a lot of shame and worry about, you know, your dad and your sister and stuff, but how would you hope they would respond if you reached out to them today?
I mean, I would really not want to, just because I feel so embarrassed about what happened, but I mean, they would probably understand. They've been in recovery too, and I hope they would understand.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're always there for the kids too, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark that down, okay? Is there, when you think of recovery, is there anyone else you might place in the inner circle that knows everything that's happened?
I mean, I did have a few friends from back when I was going to meetings, you know, more often, and they do know that I relapsed and started drinking again.
Okay.
And then they do know that, you know, the girls are with their dad now, so.
Okay. And so there's some fellowship friends that know all that. Okay. People in the fellowship that you listed in the inner circle, who was the most difficult to tell?
I mean, probably my sponsor, Ed.
I'm gonna put him here. Sponsor. It takes a lot of courage, Jamie. How'd you manage to do that?
Well, back when I got sober last time, you know, that's who I talked to about everything. You know, he saw how desperate I was when I first got into the program, and so yeah, it was just hard because I feel like I really messed up this time.
You know what? It just shows how much you care about your kids, Jamie. It was really brave of you to tell them when they go back. I know that's not easy. Can you tell me a little bit more about Ed and some of these fellowship people and how they really, I guess, supported your recovery, and maybe a little bit about maybe what they can do for the kids?
Well, yeah, they've always been there for me, especially Ed, and I feel like they really understand, because they've gone through it too, and they know the girls really well, and so, I would see them every week, and it's just kind of our routine, and
So weekly meetings, and they would want to see the kids?
mhm.
Okay. No sponsors are really, their relationship with you is really important from what I've learned, and because you help keep them sober. And it sounds like Ed really understands what it's like, to cope with the disease of addiction. And it also sounds like he's been able to relate to you and what you go through. Same with your fellowship friends. And, what else would you need from him and them today to help build safety for the kids and maybe support your recovery right away?
Well, I mean, I'm sure if I talked to Ed, he would tell me that I have to, stay connected with him and with my friends from meetings, and, call him every day. And I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to tell me I have to do 90 meetings in 90 days again. And, I have a couple meetings where I can take the girls with me, and so.
Okay. And I know you kind of like sighing when you're saying this, and I know that's a big step to take, and it takes a lot of work, but I think you're up to it. You feel like you're up to that?
I mean, I just really want my girls home, and I don't ever want them to be hurt or, so. Yeah, and then I had, my best friend Stacy.
Oh yeah, I saw that here. Your friend Stacy from college.
Yeah, so when we were in college, I was kind of a mess back then, and, there were several times where she would see me black out, and then, in the morning she was always there, like when I woke up, and it was just so embarrassing that I just kind of quit talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was really tough to go through.
Yeah.
But the kids had her there though. She was there for the kids. Well,
Yeah.
They were probably scared about you being passed out. She was there.
Yeah. They really like her too.
Where would you place her? What's her?
I mean, probably the
Okay. I really appreciate you trusting me with this stuff. I know this is really painful experiences that alcohol's caused, and the impact it's had with your relationships and your kids is not easy to cope with. If Stacy was here and she knew that you were able to share with me some of these first steps, what might she be able to do to help us?
Well, I mean, I'm sure she'd come right away and help with me and the kids, and I'm sure she'd come right away.
Okay. Well, this middle circle here, Jamie, is really people and the lives of your children and you that maybe don't know all the details of what's happened, but do know something about your struggles with alcohol. Who might you put in the middle circle here?
Well, I mean, probably my neighbor Phil.
Okay.
And then I met a couple friends on this Facebook group for moms, and
Okay.
so their names are Tammy and Jessica.
Okay, Tammy and Jessica. For Phil, can you tell me a little bit about how much Phil knows and kind of how he supported you in the past?
Yeah, well, I don't think he really knows like too much about my drinking, but we are close. Like, we would go to the temple together, and I mean, we'd see them every day because he's my neighbor. And then on Sundays, we had this routine where we would wash our cars together, and his wife would play with the girls in the front yard. So.
Oh, okay, so like his kids and your children would play together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you said that you would go to temple with him. Um, does he know a little bit though about your alcohol abuse or?
I think he knows a little, but maybe just not how bad. It
Okay,
really was.
okay. And Tammy and Jessica, was it like a sober mommy group? What do you feel like you got out of that as a parent to really help your children stay safe and develop?
Yeah, so it was just a nice, place to go with them. We were able to talk like about different stuff with the kids, like what to eat, what they eat, different parenting tips, and it was just kind of fun to be with other single moms while the kids played and go out to the
Socialize.
park and yeah.
This is the outer circle, and the outer circle really represents people that really don't know anything about what's happened to the kids or your struggles with alcohol, but are important people to you in your life. And it's either from the past or presently. Can you think of anyone you put in the outer circle?
Yeah, well, back when I was working, I had my old boss Tony, and then I had a coworker Stephanie who I was close with, and then I also have my cousin Michelle who doesn't really know what's going on, but I'm close with her too.
Okay, I'm gonna put them here. Tony's a boss, and Stephanie was your coworker, your good friend at work. Okay. Any of these people here maybe almost came close to telling your struggles and didn't though? What kind of held you back?
Well, when I relapsed and started drinking again, there was a few times where like I got in trouble at work and Tony wrote me up, and because I was always late, it was hard for me to get ready in the morning, and there was one time where I just felt like I couldn't get through the day, so I just left, and I was really afraid that he was going to fire me.
I'm sorry that happened, and tell me a little bit about Stephanie though.
Yeah, well, I mean, she knew me when I was sober, and then after I relapsed, I know she probably saw a change. I was always tired, she was always asking me if I was okay, and I mean, I'm sure there's probably a few times when she probably smelled the alcohol on me, but...
It sounds like she was really worried about you. She was asking a lot and you could smell the alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to kind of like pivot back to, you mentioned the temple, the Buddhist temple. Is this a connection that maybe you kind of got disconnected from due to kind of like your relapse? And what kind of support did you get from those cultural values that you kind of like religious beliefs that you had there?
Yeah, so it's a place I always went to, that was very peaceful, and I felt really connected to the group, and I would go to like the meditation groups, and then they even had groups specific for like 12-step stuff. But when I relapsed, I just felt like I would disappoint everybody, so I haven't been in a while.
Well, it sounds like you really got a lot out of those meetings and that type of recovery. And I've heard a lot of good things about the Buddhist temple myself, and I'm just wondering if maybe some of the people there, the meetings, is something maybe we can revisit later on safety planning. Would you be interested in kind of reconnecting there?
Yeah, maybe Phil.
Okay. So if Phil's someone you want to reconnect with at the temple, is he someone maybe we can move closer into the inner circle?
I mean, I'd probably feel comfortable with that because he does live like close to me, and we already kind of know each other like that. So.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and move him here. Anybody else from the outer circle that you feel comfortable moving, closer in that could actually play a role, or that you feel comfortable with sharing, some of the worries that we had that can help us plan?
I think probably the most supportive would probably be Stephanie from my old job.
Okay.
But last time I talked to her, she, she's always very supportive, and And so I don't know, I would just have to share with her like kind of what's been going on before we just like call her up and put her in there.
If you were to think about if you needed anybody on, this outer circle in a moment's notice, right, to make sure that there was a safe silver adult for the children, who might you pick out of these people here?
Well, Stacy would be there for sure in a second, and
Okay.
so would my mom, but I think my mom is just so frustrated with me right now.
I'm gonna put a star by Stacy, and I think you also said that you think Stephanie would be a good person to move in, and we can talk about what it would look like if I could support you in sharing some of the things with her that's happened to the children. I know that might be a tough conversation. I'm willing to help you with that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's think about Macy and Sarah. If they could talk to us today, who might they want you to move into the inner circle? If they needed someone with them at a moment's notice,
I mean, probably
who would they want you?
Stacy or
Okay.
or my mom maybe.
Okay. So Stacy's already here. We'll put like a star by her, and then maybe your mom right here,
Mm-hmm.
and then would Stephanie be someone that they might feel connected to?
I mean, they do like Stephanie
They
too.
do like Stephanie?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll put her here too. Okay. And I hear you saying that they would be good people to come in a moment's notice to really help care for the kids in case you end up returning to using alcohol or drugs, and I appreciate that. So out of all these people that you have us here, who do you think would be willing to keep the kids with them if we needed them to take care of them? I mean, we don't right now, but if we ever needed the kids to stay with them. who'd be
I
willing?
mean, really, probably all of them would. Everybody's.
And you said in the beginning you didn't have anyone. Look at you. You're like, man, all these people are here for me. That's amazing.
Thank you. It's just. It's so overwhelming.
I know.
It's so overwhelming.
But look at your circles. It's amazing. You're gonna get through this. We're gonna get you back there. Okay?
Okay.
We're gonna take a break today, but I want to just thank you for this. I hope you feel supported. I hope you feel like you can trust me to build a safety plan with you around these people, and maybe we can kind of talk it out together about what each role each person can play in your sobriety, and to help keep, to make sure your parenting behavior is on point for the girls.
I think I can do that.